You think I don't see you eyeing my money? Ethan Caldwell's voice slices through the silence, sharp as a blade, as he looms in the doorway of his Beverly Hills mansion's kitchen. His steel gray hair catches the glint of morning light, but his hazel eyes burn with accusation. The counter before him is a battlefield, $200,000 in crisp bills strewn like landmines, a deliberate trap to test Maya Johnson, his black nanny. At 52, the tech billionaire's paranoia runs deeper than his billions, forged by betrayals. A partner who gutted his company, an advisor who bled him dry. Now he's certain Maya, with her quiet competence, is just another thief waiting for her chance. He's rigged the kitchen with cameras, hidden in the coffee maker, the clock, the light fixture, every angle ready to expose her. Go ahead, he sneers, tossing another stack of bills onto the pile. Take it. I know you want to. Maya 38 stands frozen, her yellow blouse stark against her dark skin, hands gripping her cleaning cart so tight her knuckles pale. Her braided hair is pulled back, but her jaw clenches, teeth grinding as fury sparks in her chest. She's cared for Ethan's son, Liam, for 18 months, pouring her soul into soothing his fears, all while scraping by as a single mother to her own boy, Jamal. This isn't just money, it's a slap, a verdict that her skin, her job, her existence screams thief. Mr. Caldwell, she says, voice low but steady, I didn't touch your money. I won't. Her eyes lock on his, unyielding, daring him to push further. Don't play innocent, Ethan snaps, cutting her off. He steps closer, his tailored suit brushing the counter, sending a bill fluttering to the floor. Everyone has a price. I've seen it. Partners, friends, family. You're no different. His words are venom, each one a jab at her dignity. Maya's pulse hammers, but she doesn't flinch. She's faced this before. Store clerks trailing her, bosses checking her bags. But this is personal. Her fingers twitch, not for the money, but for the urge to shove his accusations back in his face. Instead, she straightens, shoulders squared, and says nothing, her silence louder than any shout. Ethan's smirk falters, but he doubles down, tossing another handful of bills across the counter. What's stopping you? No one's here. Just you, me, and a fortune. The cameras hum, unseen, capturing every second. Maya's breath hitches, not from temptation, but from the weight of being reduced to a stereotype. She thinks of Jamal, his soccer games, his dreams of a better school. She thinks of her late husband, whose music taught her resilience. You're wrong, she says, each word carved from stone. You don't know me. Ethan opens his mouth, but she cuts him off this time, her voice rising. You think this proves something? It only proves what you are. The air crackles with tension. Ethan's hand hovers over the counter as if to scatter more money, but something in Maya's gaze, fierce, unbroken, stops him. Her defiance isn't what he expected. He wanted guilt, proof of her true nature, but instead, he's met with a wall of integrity he can't breach. A phone buzzes, his in his pocket, but he ignores it, too focused on the woman who refuses to break. Maya steps back, her cart rattling, and turns toward the door. I'm done here, she says, not looking back. The words hang like a guillotine, and Ethan's chest tightens, a flicker of doubt creeping in. On the counter, unnoticed by either, a single unmarked envelope lies buried among the bills, its edges creased, hinting at secrets yet to unravel. How dare you? Maya Johnson's voice cuts like a whip, her eyes blazing as she spins back from the kitchen door, facing Ethan Caldwell. Her fists clench so tight her nails bite into her palms, the pain grounding her against the storm of humiliation. The $200,000 in scattered bills on the counter mocks her, each crisp note a testament to Ethan's belief that she's just a thief in a nanny's uniform. At 38, Maya has fought too hard, raising Jamal alone, clawing toward a music therapy degree, soothing Ethan's son, Liam, through sleepless nights, for this billionaire to reduce her to a stereotype. You think I'm here to steal your scraps? She snaps, her words sharp enough to draw blood. I've cared for your son like he's my own, and this is what I get? Ethan steps forward, his tailored suit creasing as he jabs a finger toward the money. Don't lecture me, he growls, cutting her off. Everyone's got a price. I've seen it. My partner, my advisor, my own wife. You're no saint. His voice is a blade, slicing through her defense. But Maya doesn't buckle. Her jaw tightens, teeth grinding as she swallows the urge to scream. She thinks of Jamal's soccer trophy on her shelf, her late husband's guitar in the corner of her apartment, the lullabies she sings to Liam when he wakes trembling. This man doesn't know her, but he's about to. I'm no saint, Maya fires back, her voice low, lethal. I'm a mother, a worker, a person. But you. She steps closer, unflinching, her yellow blouse a beacon against the sterile kitchen. You're a coward hiding behind your money. Ethan's eyes narrow, but she doesn't stop. You set this trap because you're too scared to trust, too weak to see me. Each word lands like a punch, her anger a controlled blaze. Ethan opens his mouth, but she cuts him off, her hands slicing the air. Don't. I've dealt with people like you my whole life. Store managers, bosses, landlords, all waiting for me to slip up. I won't give you the satisfaction. The silence crackles, heavy with her defiance. Ethan's smirk is gone, replaced by a flicker of unease, but he doubles down. Then why not take it? He taunts, sweeping his hand over the cash. Prove me right. Make it easy. Maya's chest heaves, her breath sharp, but her resolve is iron. She thinks of her husband's last words. Keep your head high, Maya. You're enough. She straightens, shoulders back, and locks eyes with Ethan. I don't need your money, she says, each syllable deliberate. I need my dignity, and you can't buy that. She turns, her cart rattling as she grips the handle, her knuckles white. Ethan's voice chases her. You're walking away from a fortune? She pauses at the door, not looking back, her voice dropping to a deadly whisper. No, Mr. Caldwell, I'm walking away from you. The words hang like a prophecy, heavy with the weight of her integrity and his failure. She pushes the door open, her steps steady, but her heart pounds with the sting of betrayal. As she moves toward the service exit, her eyes catch the unmarked envelope among the bills. Its creased edge barely visible, unnoticed by Ethan but searing into her memory. She doesn't know what it means, but it feels like a warning, a crack in the billionaire's perfect facade. The door swings shut behind her, leaving Ethan alone with his trap and the echo of her words, a spark of doubt igniting in his gut. You're a coward. Maya's words stab Ethan Caldwell's chest, echoing as the kitchen door slams shut behind her. Alone now, the billionaire stands frozen, his $200,000 trap sprawled across the counter, each bill a mocking reminder of his failure. His pulse pounds, not with triumph, but with a sickening twist in his gut. He expected her to crack, to prove his suspicions, but her defiance, those blazing eyes, that ironclad voice, cut deeper than he anticipated. At 52, Ethan's built a $15 billion empire on distrust, forged by betrayals that left scars, a partner's theft, an advisor's fraud, a wife's cold departure. But Maya, she didn't touch a dime. Her parting shot, I'm walking away from you, burns like acid, and for the first time, Ethan feels the weight of being wrong. He slumps against the counter, fingers grazing the scattered cash, his tailored suit rumpled. The cameras, still humming, capture his defeat. He grabs his phone, pulls up the footage, and rewinds to Maya's reaction. Her hands, trembling but resolute, never near the money. Her jaw, clenched tight, held back a storm. I need my dignity, she'd said, and the truth of it hits him like a fist. He's about to shut off the feed when a voice breaks through, his son Liam, calling from the hallway. Dad, where's Maya? The 6-year-old's small frame appears, eyes wide with worry. She didn't sing to me today. Ethan's throat tightens. Sing? He mutters, confused. Liam clutches a worn stuffed bear, his voice soft but urgent. She sings when I'm scared at night. Like last week, when I had that nightmare about the dark. She taught me a song to make it go away. Ethan's heart stumbles. He never knew, never noticed Maya's care for Liam beyond her job. His fingers fumble with the phone, pulling up older footage. There, in grainy night vision, Maya sits by Liam's bed, her voice low, singing a jazz lullaby, her hand gently smoothing his hair. The boy's tense shoulders relax, his breathing evens. Ethan's chest caves. She wasn't just a nanny. She was a shield for his son, filling gaps he'd left empty. Why'd she leave, Dad? Liam's question slices deeper. Ethan's mouth opens, but no words come. He can't admit the truth, that he drove her away with his test, his prejudice. His eyes dart to the counter, where the unmarked envelope lies among the bills, its creased edge catching his attention. He snatches it, hands shaking, expecting a note from a business deal. Instead, scrawled in black ink are the words, "The truth is in the accounts. J.R." Ethan's blood runs cold. J.R. Jonathan Reed, his CFO. The envelope feels like a grenade, hinting at secrets buried in his company, secrets he's been too paranoid to see. Did Maya see it? Did she know? He paces, the cash crunching under his polished shoes. His phone buzzes, his assistant warning of a missed board meeting. But he silences it. Maya's face flashes in his mind, her fury, her dignity, her care for Liam. He'd seen a black nanny, a potential thief, not the woman who sang his son to sleep. Shame creeps in, hot and heavy, curling around his ribs. He replays her words. "You're too weak to see me." Each syllable is a mirror, reflecting his cowardice. He'd built walls to protect himself, but they'd blinded him to her truth. The envelope burns in his hand, a clue to something bigger, something he can't ignore. Liam tugs his sleeve. "Is Maya coming back?" Ethan's voice catches. "I don't know, buddy." But inside a spark ignites. He has to find her, to fix this before the weight of his mistake and that mysterious note buries him. "You don't get to ruin her and walk away." Liam's small voice cracks like a gunshot, his tiny fist balled as he glares at Ethan Caldwell. The billionaire's chest caves, his son's words slicing deeper than Maya's parting shot. The kitchen, still littered with $200,000, feels like a crime scene. His crime. Ethan's fingers clutch the mysterious envelope from the counter. Its cryptic note. "The truth is in the accounts." J.R. burning in his palm. Maya's defiance, her care for Liam, her refusal to touch the money, all haunt him. At 52, Ethan's built walls of distrust, but Maya's integrity is a sledgehammer, cracking them open. He can't sit still. His polished shoes pace the marble floor, each step a hammer against his guilt. He has to find her, to fix this, before the shame swallows him whole. Ethan grabs his keys, ignoring his phone's buzz. His lawyer, warning of PR fallout. "Screw the optics," he mutters, his voice rough. He replays the footage again, Maya's face blazing with hurt. "You're too weak to see me." She's right. He saw a black nanny, not the woman who sang to his son, who shielded Liam from fears Ethan never noticed. His throat burns as he strides to his Bentley, the envelope stuffed in his pocket. Maya lives in Inglewood, a world away from Beverly Hills gloss. He's never been there, never had to. The thought stings. His privilege kept him blind, but no more. The drive is a blur, his knuckles white on the wheel. Inglewood's streets hum with life, kids on bikes, music spilling from open windows. But Ethan feels like an intruder. He parks outside Maya's apartment, a modest brick building, and hesitates. His suit screams outsider, his wealth a barrier. A neighbor, an older black woman with sharp eyes, blocks his path. "Who you looking for?" she demands, arms crossed. "Maya Johnson," Ethan says, voice low. "I need to see her." The woman scoffs. "You the rich guy who set her up? She don't need your kind here." Her words hit like a slap, but Ethan doesn't flinch. "I messed up," he admits, his jaw tight. "I'm here to make it right." She studies him, unconvinced, but steps aside. "Hurt her again, and you'll answer to us." Ethan nods, his pulse hammering as he climbs the stairs. Maya's door is cracked open, and he hears her voice. Soft, steady, reading to her son, Jamal. He knocks, his hand shaking. Maya appears, her braided hair loose, her eyes narrowing at the sight of him. "What do you want?" she snaps, her voice a blade. Ethan opens his mouth, but she cuts him off. "You don't get to show up here, acting sorry, after treating me like a criminal." Her fingers grip the doorframe, her anger a live wire. "I was wrong," Ethan says, his words raw. "I saw a nanny, not you. I saw my fears. not your strength. Maya's jaw clenches, her teeth grinding as she fights the urge to slam the door. You think words fix this? She fires back. You humiliated me. You made me a suspect in my own life. Ethan's chest tightens, her pain mirroring his shame. I know, he says, stepping closer, his voice breaking. But I saw you with Liam, on the footage. The way you sang to him, calmed him. I didn't know. Maya's eyes flicker, a crack in her armor. But she holds firm. You should have known. You should have seen me. Ethan pulls the envelope from his pocket, his fingers trembling. This was on the counter, he says, holding it out. It's not mine. It says J.R. My CFO, Jonathan Reed. I don't know what it means, but it's not right. Maya's gaze sharpens, but she doesn't take it. That's your mess, she says, voice cold. Not mine. Ethan nods, his shoulders slumping. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to prove I'm not that man anymore. Maya's silence is deafening, her eyes searching his face for lies. Jamal peeks out, his voice small. Mom, is he the bad guy? Maya's hand tightens on the door. Not yet, she says, her gaze locked on Ethan. But he's got a lot to prove. She shuts the door, leaving Ethan in the hallway, the envelope in his hand, its secrets whispering of a storm he can't yet see. You're not a thief, Mom. Jamal's voice, fierce and small, pierces the quiet of their Inglewood apartment as Maya Johnson slams the door on Ethan Caldwell. Her hands tremble, not from fear, but from the rage still burning in her chest. The billionaire's apology, his creased envelope, his guilt. They don't erase the sting of his test, the $200,000 scattered like a taunt, branding her a criminal in her own workplace. At 38, Maya's fought too long, raising Jamal alone, clawing toward a music therapy degree, soothing Ethan's son Liam through his fears, for a rich man's suspicions to break her. She grips the edge of the kitchen table, her braided hair loose, her jaw clenched so tight it aches. I know, baby, she says, forcing a smile for her 10-year-old. But some people only see what they want. Jamal's eyes, wide and trusting, hold hers. Then show 'em you're better. His words hit like a spark, igniting her resolve. Maya straightens, her yellow blouse creased from the day's fight, and pulls him into a hug. His small frame steadies her, a reminder of why she keeps going. She's no victim. She's a survivor, a former music teacher who traded her passion for stability after her husband's death. The apartment, modest but warm, is proof of her grit. Photos of Jamal's soccer games pinned to the fridge, her textbooks stacked beside a worn guitar. She won't let Ethan's betrayal steal that. Her phone buzzes, Carla, her best friend and fellow nanny, demanding answers. You okay? Carla's voice is sharp, protective. Heard about the money. That rich jerk set you up? Maya's fingers tighten around the phone, her pulse hammering. He did, she says, voice low. Thought I'd steal. I called the housekeeper instead. Carla curses. You're too good for that place, Maya. Quit. Maya's teeth grind. I can't. Jamal's school, my degree, it's all on the line. Carla softens. Then keep being you. They can't take that. The call ends, but Maya's mind races. She won't crumble. Not now. Not ever. She moves to the living room, where Jamal's sprawled with his homework. Let's finish this, she says, her voice steadying. As she explains fractions, her hands move with purpose, guiding his pencil. But her thoughts drift to Liam, Ethan's 6-year-old, his anxious eyes, his nightmares. She'd sung to him, taught him melodies to chase the dark away, never expecting thanks. Now Ethan's voice echoes. I saw you with Liam. I didn't know. Her chest tightens, not with pity, but with defiance. She cared for his son when he didn't, and he repaid her with a trap. The doorbell buzzes, pulling her back. It's Mrs. Carter, the neighbor who grilled Ethan earlier. Saw that rich guy leave, she says, arms crossed. You all right, girl? Maya nods, her jaw still tight. I'm fine, just tired. Mrs. Carter's eyes soften. You're stronger than he'll ever be. Come to the community center tonight. The kids need you. Maya hesitates. Her shift was hell. Her name's at risk. But she nods. I'll be there. She's not just a nanny, she's a pillar in this neighborhood, teaching music to kids who need hope. At the community center, Maya steps into a cramped room, buzzing with children. She picks up a guitar, her fingers finding familiar chords. All right, y'all, she calls, her voice warm but firm. Let's sing out the bad stuff. The kids, ages 8 to 15, gather round, their faces brightening. She leads them in a jazz standard, her voice rich, steady, pulling them into the melody. A shy girl, Tasha, stumbles on the notes, her eyes downcast. Maya kneels, her hand gentle on Tasha's shoulder. Feel the music, not the fear, she says. Tasha tries again, her voice stronger. Maya's heart swells. She's not just teaching, she's healing, the way she always has. As the session ends, Carla pulls her aside. News is spreading, she warns, showing her phone. A headline blares. Billionaire's cash trap sparks outrage. Maya's stomach lurches. Her name's out there, tied to Ethan's stunt. They'll think I'm a thief, she whispers, her fist clenching. Carla grabs her hand. Then show 'em you're not. Keep shining. Maya nods, her resolve hardening. She won't let Ethan's mistake define her. Back home, she tucks Jamal in, singing the same lullaby she taught Liam. As his eyes close, she spots her husband's old guitar pick on the nightstand, its worn edge catching the light. It feels like a sign, a reminder of her strength, and maybe, just maybe, a clue to something bigger waiting to unfold. You think a sorry fixes this? Maya Johnson's voice slices through the cramped air of her Inglewood apartment. Her eyes locked on Ethan Caldwell like a hawk on prey. Her fists clench, nails digging into her palms as she stands in her doorway, blocking the billionaire's path. The sting of his $200,000 trap still burns, his assumption that she, a black nanny, would steal, a dagger to her pride. At 38, Maya's fought for every inch of her life, raising Jamal alone, teaching kids at the community center, chasing a music therapy degree. Ethan's presence here, in her world, feels like another invasion. Her jaw tightens, teeth grinding, as she fights the urge to slam the door. You don't get to waltz in here and play savior, she snaps, cutting him off before he can speak. Ethan, his tailored suit out of place in the modest hallway, raises his hands, palms open. I'm not here to save you, he says, voice raw. I'm here because I was wrong. His hazel eyes flicker with shame, but Maya doesn't budge. Wrong, she fires back, stepping forward, her yellow blouse creased from a day of defiance. You scattered cash like I'm some crook, humiliated me in front of your staff, and now my name's in the news. Nanny caught in billionaire's trap. You think words undo that? Her words are knives, each one carving into his guilt. Ethan's shoulders slump, but he holds her gaze. I saw the footage, he says. You with Liam, singing to him, calming his nightmares. I didn't know. Maya's breath catches, her chest tightening at the mention of Liam. She spent 18 months shielding Ethan's son, teaching him melodies to chase away fear, while Ethan saw only a suspect. You should have known, she says, voice low, lethal. You should have seen me. Ethan opens his mouth, but she cuts him off, her hand slicing the air. Don't. I've dealt with your kind my whole life. People who see my skin, my job, and assume the worst. But I'm not your stereotype. Her pulse hammers, her resolve ironclad, but a flicker of pain crosses her face. Jamal's future, her degree, all hang in the balance because of Ethan's stunt. I'm trying to change, Ethan says, his voice cracking. He pulls the creased envelope from his pocket, the one from the kitchen counter, and holds it out. This was among the money. It's not mine. It says J.R. Jonathan Reed, my CFO. I don't know what it means, but it's trouble. Maya's eyes narrow, but she doesn't take it. Your mess, she says, voice cold. Not mine. Ethan steps closer, desperation creeping in. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve your trust, but I'm asking for a chance to prove I'm not that man anymore. Maya's fingers twitch, her heart warring between fury and the faint hope in his eyes. She thinks of Jamal asleep inside, and Liam, who needs her. You want a chance? She says, her voice ablade. Earn it. Actions, not promises, and never, ever test me again. Ethan nods, his throat bobbing. What do you need? He asks, his words stripped bare. Maya's gaze hardens. I need my name cleared. I need my son's future safe. And I need you to stop seeing me as the help. Her conditions are a gauntlet, each one a demand for respect. Ethan's hand tightens on the envelope, his knuckles white. I'll do it, he says. I'll go public. Tell the truth. Take the blame. Maya's lips press into a thin line, assessing him. We'll see, she says, her voice steady but guarded. Words are cheap, Mr. Caldwell. As she speaks, her eyes catch something on the table behind her. Her husband's old guitar pick, its worn edge glinting. She pauses, her fingers brushing it, a memory flashing. Her husband's voice. Keep your light, Maya. She turns back to Ethan, her resolve sharpening. There's something else, she says, her voice dropping. That envelope. You didn't notice it at first. Neither did I. But it wasn't there last week. Ethan's brow furrows, his grip on the envelope tightening. What are you saying? Maya steps closer, her eyes searching his. Someone wanted you to find it. Someone in your house. Her words hang like a warning, a spark igniting a new mystery. Ethan's pulse quickens, his mind racing to Jonathan Reed, his charming but slippery CFO. Reed, he mutters, his voice low. He's been pushing deals I don't trust. Maya's hand hovers over the guitar pick, her fingers trembling slightly. If this is a game, she says, I'm not playing it. But if it's real, you'd better figure it out fast before it burns us both. She steps back, her door still half open, a barrier between them. Ethan nods, his jaw tight. I will, he says, his voice firm, and I'll start by fixing what I broke. Maya's silence is heavy, her eyes holding his, weighing his soul. She shuts the door, not with a slam, but with a quiet click, leaving Ethan in the hallway, the envelope in his hand, its secrets pulsing like a heartbeat, pulling them both toward a truth neither can yet see. You're digging a hole, Caldwell. Jonathan Reed's voice snaps like a whip, his polished smile a mask of venom as he corners Ethan Caldwell in his sleek office. The billionaire's fingers tighten around the creased envelope from the kitchen. Its cryptic note. The truth is in the accounts. J.R. branding Reed, his CFO, as a threat. At 45, Reed's charm hides a predator's edge, his tailored suit and slick blonde hair a facade for ruthless ambition. Ethan's pulse hammers, his jaw clenched, as he faces the man he once trusted. Maya's warning from her apartment, someone wanted you to find it, burns in his mind, her guarded conditions for reconciliation pushing him to confront the truth. The $200,000 trap he set for her was a mistake, but this envelope hints at a betrayal far deeper, and Reed's sudden hostility confirms it. You leaked the Nanny story, Ethan accuses, his voice low, lethal. He slams the envelope on the desk, the initials J.R. glaring under the harsh light. Reed's eyes flicker, but he leans forward, cutting Ethan off. Careful, boss, he sneers, his tone sharp as a blade. You're the one who humiliated her. I'm just cleaning up your mess. His words drip with mockery, each one a jab at Ethan's guilt. Ethan's fists clench, knuckles white, as he fights the urge to lunge. He's 52, his empire built on distrust, but Maya's integrity, her refusal to steal, her care for his son, Liam, has cracked his armor. Now Reed's smug deflection fuels a new fire in his gut. Don't play games, Ethan snaps, stepping closer, his tailored suit creasing. This note, your initials. What's in the accounts? Reed's laugh is cold, slicing through the tension. You're paranoid, he says, brushing off the accusation, always seeing enemies. Maybe that's why you tested your nanny like a common crook. The jab hits hard, Maya's hurt flashing in Ethan's mind, her blazing eyes, her voice. You don't get to waltz in here and play savior. His chest tightens, shame mixing with suspicion. Reed's too smooth, too quick to deflect. Ethan snatches the envelope, waving it like a weapon. This isn't paranoia, he growls. This is proof. Reed leans back, his smirk unwavering. Proof of what? Your failure? He steps around the desk, his movements deliberate, predatory. You're unraveling, Ethan. The board's buzzing, the media's eating you alive. Billionaire's cash trap sparks outrage. You think I caused that? His voice is a taunt, daring Ethan to swing. Ethan's teeth grind, his pulse roaring. He thinks of Maya's conditions. Clear her name, protect her son's future, see her as a person. He can't fail her again, but Reed's hostility is a wall, blocking the truth. You're hiding something, Ethan says, his voice steady but burning. And I'll find it. Reed's eyes narrow, a flash of menace breaking through his charm. Dig too deep and you'll bury yourself, he warns, his words a knife's edge. He grabs his phone, typing swiftly, his fingers a blur. You want to play detective? Go ahead, but leave Maya Johnson out of it. She's collateral damage. The mention of Maya's name sends a jolt through Ethan, his fists trembling. Don't say her name, he snaps, stepping into Reed's space. You don't get to touch her life. Reed's smirk twists, his voice dropping. Too late. Her name's already trending. We're in Nanny test. Good luck saving her now. Ethan's blood runs cold. He'd promised Maya he'd clear her name, but Reed's words confirm the leak came from inside his circle. His mind races to the envelope, its cryptic message pointing to Reed's accounts. Was this a setup to distract from something bigger? Reed turns to leave, his parting shot venomous. Focus on your own mess, Ethan. You're not built for this fight. The door clicks shut, leaving Ethan alone, his breath ragged. He slams his fist on the desk, the envelope skittering across it. Maya's face haunts him, her defiance, her care for Liam, her demand for respect. He'd hurt her, but Reed's threat feels like a deeper betrayal, one tied to the secrets in that note. Ethan grabs his phone, dialing his head housekeeper, Maria. Check the staff logs, he says, his voice urgent. Who was in the kitchen the day I left the money? Maria hesitates. Mr. Reed was there, sir. Late, after hours. Said he was reviewing catering invoices. Ethan's grip tightens, his knuckles pale. Reed was in the kitchen, planting the envelope, orchestrating chaos. Ethan's shame burns hotter, but now it's laced with resolve. He won't just atone for his mistake. He'll expose whatever Reed's hiding. The envelope lies open on the desk, its note a silent challenge, whispering of a conspiracy that could destroy everything he and Maya have left to protect. You're in over your head, Maya. Jonathan Reed's voice hisses through the phone, his threat sharp as a blade. But Maya Johnson's grip tightens, her knuckles pale against the cracked screen. She's in the back room of the Inglewood Community Center, her braided hair loose, her jaw clenched so hard it aches. The billionaire's $200,000 trap still burns in her memory, Ethan Caldwell's attempt to brand her a thief. But Reed's warning, delivered after his confrontation with Ethan, confirms a deeper game. The envelope Ethan showed her scrawled with, "The truth is in the accounts. J.R." pulses in her mind. At 38, Maya's no stranger to fighting, raising Jamal alone, teaching kids to find hope in music. But this fight feels bigger, a corporate conspiracy threatening to crush her. You don't scare me, she snaps back, her voice a razor. I'm done being your pawn. Reed's laugh crackles, cold and mocking. Stay out of this, he says, cutting her off, or your name stays in the dirt. The call ends, but Maya's pulse roars. Her fingers tremble as she clutches her husband's old guitar pick, its worn edge a lifeline to her strength. She thinks of Jamal's future, or her music therapy degree, Ethan's son Liam, all at stake because of Reed's schemes. She won't back down. Her phone buzzes again. Ethan, his voice urgent. Maya, meet me. We need to figure this out. She hesitates, her chest tight from his betrayal, but his promise to clear her name sways her. Fine, she says, her tone icy, but no games. She meets Ethan at a dive coffee shop in downtown LA, far from Beverly Hills gloss. Ethan's suit is gone, replaced by a plain jacket, his hazel eyes raw with guilt. He slides the envelope across the table, its creased paper heavy with secrets. Reed's hiding something, he says, his voice low. This note, it's about offshore accounts. I checked my company's financials. There's a $10 million gap. Maya's eyes narrow, her fingers brushing the guitar pick in her pocket. You trust me now? She asks, her words a challenge. Ethan's jaw tightens. I'm learning to, he says. You're smarter than I ever was. Her lips twitch, not a smile, but a crack in her armor. She nods. Then let's move. They split tasks, Maya's sharp instincts, honed from years teaching and reading people, lead her to the public library where she digs into financial records. Her fingers fly over the keyboard, her pulse hammering as she uncovers encrypted files linked to Reed's name. She texts Carla, her tech-savvy friend, for help. "Crack this," she says, sending a file. Carla, hunched over a laptop in her apartment, curses. "This is heavy, Maya. Offshore accounts, shell companies. Reed's been bleeding Ethan's company for years." Maya's stomach lurches, her teeth grinding. "He set me up to take the fall," she says, her voice fierce. "Keep digging." Ethan, meanwhile, storms his company's server room, his access code still active. His hands shake as he pulls transaction logs, his mind racing to Reed's smug threat. "Dig too deep, and you'll bury yourself." A junior analyst, nervous but loyal, slips him a USB drive. "Reed's been shredding documents," the analyst whispers. "Check the Cayman accounts." Ethan's blood runs cold. The logs show transfers to a shell company, JR Enterprises, dated the night he set the money trap. Reed was in the kitchen, planting the envelope to shift blame. Ethan's fists clench, his knuckles white. He'd hurt Maya, but Reed's betrayal cuts deeper, a knife in his empire's heart. Maya and Carla meet at a park, away from prying eyes. Carla's laptop glows, revealing emails between Reed and an unknown contact, discussing cleaning the books before an audit. Maya's breath catches, her fingers tightening on the guitar pick. "He's framing others," she says, "like he framed Ethan's old partner." Carla nods, her eyes sharp. "There's more. A name keeps popping up. Thomas Lane. Died 2 years ago. Car accident." Maya's heart skips. "Suspicious?" Carla's voice drops. "Too clean, like someone tied up a loose end." Maya's resolve hardens, her jaw set. Reed's not just a thief, he's dangerous. Ethan joins them, his face grim, the USB drive in hand. "Lane was my partner," he says, his voice breaking. "I blamed him for stealing secrets. Reed pushed me to believe it." Maya's eyes lock on his, her anger flaring. "You trusted the wrong man," she says, her words cutting, "and you tested me for it." Ethan's shoulders slump, his guilt raw. "I know," he says, "but we can stop him." Maya nods, her fingers brushing the guitar pick again, its edge sparking a memory, her husband's warning about powerful men and their lies. "We need proof," she says, "hard proof." They track a lead to a storage unit Reed rented under JR Enterprises. Inside, Maya's flashlight catches stacks of files, ledgers marked with coded entries. Her pulse races as she flips through them, finding payments to a private security firm. Ethan's hand trembles, recognizing names. Former employees, all disgraced or gone. "He's been cleaning house," Ethan mutters, his voice tight. A noise outside, a car engine, makes Maya freeze. "We're being watched," she whispers, her eyes darting to the door. Carla shoves the ledgers into a bag, her hands swift. "Move!" she hisses. They slip out, hearts pounding, as headlights sweep the lot. Reed's men are closing in, and the truth they've uncovered feels like a ticking bomb, ready to explode. "You killed him, didn't you?" Maya Johnson's voice cuts like a blade, her eyes boring into the laptop screen as she and Ethan Caldwell huddle in Carla's dimly lit apartment. Her fingers grip her husband's old guitar pick, its worn edge grounding her against the storm of rage and fear. The ledgers from Reed's storage unit, snatched under the sweep of headlights, lie open beside her, their coded entries now cracked. At 38, Maya's no stranger to betrayal. Ethan's $200,000 trap branded her a thief. But this is bigger. Jonathan Reed, Ethan's slick CFO, isn't just stealing. He's a predator, and the truth they've uncovered could destroy them all. Her jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as she points to a name in the files. Thomas Lane. "Your partner," she says, her voice low, lethal. "He didn't steal those secrets. Reed set him up." Ethan's face pales, his knuckles white as he grips the table, the weight of Maya's words crashing into him. At 52, his empire's scars, betrayals by partners, advisors, his wife, have fueled his paranoia, but Reed's deception cuts deepest. The envelope from the kitchen, marked JR, led them here. Its note, "The truth is in the accounts," a grenade that's just detonated. Lane was my friend, Ethan chokes out, his voice raw. I blamed him, drove him out. He died in that crash 2 years ago. Maya's eyes flash, her anger a live wire. Not a crash, she snaps, cutting him off. Murder. Her finger stabs a ledger entry, a $50,000 payment to a private security firm, dated the day before Lane's death. Carla, her fingers flying over the laptop, pulls up an encrypted email from Reed's server. Look, she says, her voice tense. Read to an unknown contact. Lane's getting too close. Handle it. Maya's stomach lurches, her pulse hammering. He had him killed, she says, her words a whip. Ethan's hands tremble, his breath ragged. I trusted Reed, he mutters. He fed me lies, turned me against Lane. His eyes meet Maya's, guilt flooding them. And I turned on you. Maya's lips press tight, her anger flaring. You did, she says, her voice sharp. But this isn't about you anymore. It's about justice. She flips through the ledger, her fingers swift, uncovering more. Payments to shell companies, falsified reports, a trail of fraud stretching back years. Reed didn't just frame Lane. He's been siphoning millions from Ethan's company, using disgraced employees as scapegoats. Maya's mind races to her own ordeal, the Washington Nanny test scandal, her name dragged through the media. He tried to pin this on me, she says, her voice rising. The money in your kitchen? He planted that envelope to make me look guilty. Ethan's jaw tightens, his fists clenching. He played us both, he says, his voice a growl. But why? Carla's screen flashes, a news article from 2 years ago. Tech exec Thomas Lane dies in tragic accident. Maya's eyes scan it, her breath catching. No skid marks, she says, her voice dropping. No witnesses. Reed made it look clean. Ethan's face twists, his guilt morphing into rage. Lane left a wife, a kid, he says, his voice breaking. I cut them off, believed Reed's lies. Maya's hand tightens on the guitar pick, her husband's voice echoing. Keep your light, Maya. She leans forward, her eyes blazing. Reed's been cleaning house, she says. Lane, your old staff. Now me. He's tying up loose ends. Ethan slams his fist on the table. The ledger's jumping. I let this happen, he says, his voice raw. I was too blind to see it. Maya's gaze softens just a fraction, but her resolve holds. Then open your eyes, she says, her words a challenge. We have proof now. Dates, payments, emails. But Reed's not done. He knows we're digging. Carla nods, her fingers pausing. He's got people watching, she says. That car at the storage unit? Not random. Maya's pulse spikes, her teeth grinding. He's coming for us, she says, her voice steady but fierce. Ethan pulls out his phone, his hands shaking. I'm calling my lawyer, he says. We need to secure this evidence. Maya grabs his wrist, her grip iron. No, she says, cutting him off. Not yet. Reed's too connected. We need more. Something he can't twist. Her eyes lock on the guitar pick, its edge catching the light, sparking a memory. Lane's wife, she says suddenly. She might know something. Reed mentioned her in an email. Keep her quiet. She's still out there. Ethan's breath catches, his resolve hardening. Then we find her, he says. Together. Maya nods, her jaw set, the pick in her hand a silent vow. The truth is out, but the fight's just begun, and Reed's shadow looms closer, ready to strike. You're nothing but a loose end, Maya, Jonathan Reed's voice snarls, his polished facade cracking as he looms over Maya Johnson in the dimly lit back office of a Beverly Hills gala. His blonde hair is slicked back, but his eyes burn with menace, a predator cornering prey. Maya's heart slams against her ribs, her fingers clutching her husband's guitar pick, its sharp edge biting into her palm. At 38, she's faced down Ethan Caldwell's $200,000 trap, exposed Reed's fraud, and uncovered his murder of Thomas Lane. But now she's trapped. The ledgers, emails, and payments she and Ethan dug up have led her here, posing as a server to confront Reed at his own game. Her jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as she fires back. You're the one who's done, Reed. I've got proof. You killed Lane, stole millions. Reed's laugh is a blade, cutting her off. Proof? He sneers, stepping closer, his tailored suit brushing the desk. "You're a nanny. Nobody'll believe you." He snatches her phone, smashing it against the wall, shards flying. Maya's pulse roars, but she doesn't flinch. She's fought for Jamal's future, taught Liam to face his fears, survived Ethan's betrayal. This won't break her. "I'm not alone," she says, her voice low, lethal. "Ethan knows. The board knows. You're finished." Reed's smirk twists, his hands slamming the desk, rattling a pen. "Ethan's weak," he snaps. "And you? You're collateral damage." He lunges, grabbing her wrist, his grip bruising. Maya twists, her free hand swinging, nails raking his cheek. "Let go!" she hisses, her voice a whip. Reed stumbles, blood beading on his face, but he shoves her against the wall, pinning her. "You should have taken the money," he growls, his breath hot. "Would have been easier." Maya's knees buckle, but her mind races, flashing to her husband's voice. "Keep your light, Maya." She spots a letter opener on the desk, inches away. Her fingers strain, reaching, but Reed's grip tightens, his eyes wild. "You're not walking out of here," he says, his voice a knife. The door's locked. Reed's planned this. Maya's breath catches, her chest heaving as she calculates. She taught Liam to stay calm under pressure. Now it's her turn. She hums a jazz melody under her breath, soft but steady, grounding her panic. "You're scared," she says, her voice cutting through his rage. "Scared we're too close." Reed's eyes narrow, his grip loosening for a split second. Maya seizes it, wrenching free, diving for the letter opener. Her fingers close around it, but Reed's faster, tackling her to the floor. The guitar pick slips from her hand, skittering across the tile, a silent scream of her fading hope. "You know too much," Reed snarls, his knee pinning her shoulder. Maya's arm throbs, but her eyes blaze, unyielding. "And you're too sloppy," she spits, her voice fierce. "The ledgers, the emails, they're out there. You can't hide." Reed's face twists, his hand rising. But a noise outside, a shout, footsteps, makes him freeze. "Security," Maya says, her voice steady despite the pain. "Ethan called them." Reed's head snaps toward the door, his panic flaring. Maya rolls, grabbing the guitar pick, its edge a spark of defiance. She scrambles to her feet, the letter opener still in hand, and bolts for the window, shoving it open. Cold air hits her face as she climbs onto the ledge, her heart pounding. Reed lunges, but she swings the letter opener, slicing his sleeve. "Back off!" she yells, her voice a roar. He hesitates, his eyes darting to the door as the pounding grows louder. Maya drops to the ground outside, her knees scraping pavement, her breath ragged. She clutches the guitar pick, its worn surface a reminder of her strength. Jamal's smile, Liam's trust, her own unbreakable will. Reed's voice echoes behind her. "This isn't over!" But she's already running, the gala's lights fading as she slips into the night, her pulse a drumbeat of survival. The ledgers are safe with Carla. The truth is out, but Reed's threat hangs like a noose, tightening with every step she takes. "You're not safe, Maya." Carla's voice cracks like a gunshot through the phone, her urgency slicing through the night as Maya Johnson sprints from the Beverly Hills Gala, her knees still bleeding from her escape. Her fingers clutch her husband's guitar pick, its sharp edge grounding her against the panic clawing her chest. At 38, Maya's survived Ethan Caldwell's $200,000 trap, exposed Jonathan Reed's murder of Thomas Lane, and fought off his attack. But Reed's threat, "This isn't over," echoes like a death knell. Her jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as she ducks into an alley, her breath ragged. "I got out," she gasps, her voice a blade. "But Reed's coming. We need the final nail, now." Carla, holed up in her apartment, her laptop glowing with hacked files, snaps back. "I'm working on it. Reed's server's a fortress." Maya's pulse hammers, her mind racing to the ledgers they stole, the emails linking Reed to Lane's murder. She's a nanny, a single mother, not a detective, but she's fought for Jamal's future, taught Liam to face fear. She won't stop now. "Find me something airtight," she says, her voice fierce. "Something he can't twist." Carla's fingers fly, her voice tense. "There's a hidden drive, password protected. Lane's name is all over it." Maya's heart skips, her grip tightening on the pick. Crack it, she says. Fast. She slips into a 24-hour diner, her server's uniform torn, her braided hair loose. The counter's sticky, but she ignores it, her eyes scanning for Reed's men. Her phone buzzes. Ethan, his voice raw. Maya, where are you? Security lost Reed at the gala. Her stomach lurches, but she keeps her cool. I'm fine, she says, cutting him off. Carla's digging. Get to her place, now. Ethan's breath catches, his guilt palpable. I'm sorry, he says. I should have. Maya interrupts, her voice sharp. No time for sorry. Move. She hangs up, her fingers brushing the guitar pick. Her husband's words echoing. Keep your light, Maya. Ethan speeds through L.A., his knuckles white on the wheel, his plain jacket a far cry from his billionaire suits. The ledgers, Lane's murder, Reed's fraud. It's all his fault, his blindness. Maya's strength, her care for Liam, her defiance in that office burn in his mind. At 52, he's lost everything to betrayal, but he won't lose her. He storms into Carla's apartment, his jaw tight. What have we got? He demands. Carla's eyes don't leave her screen. Lane's drive, she says, her voice a whip. It's got audio recordings of Reed planning the hit. Ethan's blood runs cold, his fists clenching. Play it, he says, his voice a growl. The audio crackles, Reed's voice chilling. Lane's asking questions. Take him out. Make it look clean. Maya, patched in via speakerphone, freezes, her breath hitching. That's it, she says, her voice steady but blazing. That's the proof. Carla's fingers pause, her face grim. There's more. A video, Lane's last meeting with Reed, time-stamped the night before his crash. Ethan's chest caves, his guilt surging. I blamed him, he mutters, his voice breaking. I let Reed ruin him. Maya's voice cuts through, fierce. Focus, Ethan. We end this tonight. They triangulate the video's source, a hidden server in Reed's downtown office. Maya, ignoring her scraped knees, heads there, her pulse roaring. Carla stays online, guiding her. Back entrance, no cameras, Carla says. Maya slips inside, her flashlight catching locked cabinets. Her fingers tremble as she picks the lock, her music teacher's precision steadying her. Inside, a hard drive glints, labeled JR Backup. She grabs it, but footsteps echo. Reed's security closing in. Carla, they're here, Maya whispers, her voice tight. Carla's voice snaps. Hide! Maya ducks behind a cabinet, her heart pounding, the guitar pick pressed against her palm like a talisman. Ethan, racing to join her, crashes through traffic, his phone buzzing with Carla's updates. She's in Reed's office, Carla says, her voice urgent. Security's on her tail. Ethan's jaw clenches, his foot slamming the gas. I'm 5 minutes out, he says. Keep her safe. Inside, Maya's breath is shallow, her eyes darting as boots stomp closer. She slips the drive into her pocket, her fingers brushing a crumpled photo inside. Jamal and Liam, smiling at the community center. Her resolve hardens, her teeth grinding. She won't let Reed win. A guard's flashlight sweeps the room, inches from her. Maya hums a jazz melody, soft, steady, calming her panic. The guard pauses, then moves on, missing her. She bolts for the exit, her knees screaming, but a hand grabs her arm. Another guard. Got her, he yells. Maya swings, her fist connecting with his jaw, the guitar pick falling to the floor. She scrambles, snatching it, and sprints out, the drive secure. Ethan's car screeches up, his door flying open. Get in, he shouts. Maya dives inside, her breath ragged, the hard drive clutched tight, its secrets the key to Reed's downfall. But the guard's shouts echo behind, a warning that the fight's far from over. You're done, Reed, Maya Johnson's voice thunders, slicing through the glitz of the Beverly Hills Gala like a lightning strike. Her braided hair is pinned tight, her server's uniform swapped for a bold red dress that demands attention. At 38, she's no longer just a nanny. She's a force, clutching the hard drive from Reed's office, its audio and video proof of his crimes burning in her hand. Her jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as she stands before the gala's crowd. Executives, reporters, Ethan's board, her pulse hammering. Jonathan Reed, the slick CFO, freezes mid-toast, his blonde hair glinting, his smirk twisting into panic. Maya's escape from his attack, the ledgers, the emails, all led to this moment. She's ready to end him. Reed's eyes narrow, his voice a hiss. "You're nobody," he snaps, cutting her off, his glass trembling. "This is a stunt," the crowd murmurs, but Maya doesn't flinch. Her fingers tighten on the hard drive, her husband's guitar pick in her pocket, a spark of defiance. "Nobody," she fires back, her voice a blade. "I'm the one with your confession." She nods to Carla, who's hacked the gala's projector. The screen flares to life, Reed's voice booming. "Lane's getting too close. Handle it." Gasps ripple through the room, cameras flashing. Reed's face pales, his knuckles white around his glass. "Lies!" he shouts, lunging toward the projector. But Ethan steps in, his frame solid, his hazel eyes blazing. "Sit down, Jonathan," Ethan growls, his voice low, lethal. At 52, the billionaire's guilt, over testing Maya with $200,000, over trusting Reed, fuels his resolve. He grabs the mic, his hands steady. "This ends tonight," he says, his words cutting the air. The video plays. Lane, alive, confronting Reed in a grainy office, accusing him of fraud. "You stole millions," Lane says, his voice steady. "I'll expose you." Reed's reply is chilling. "You won't live to try." The crowd freezes, the truth landing like a bomb. Maya's chest tightens, her breath sharp, remembering Lane's wife, his child, her own son Jamal. "You killed him," she says, her voice ringing, "and framed me to cover it." Reed's smirk vanishes, his hands shaking. "You've got nothing," he snarls, but his voice cracks. Carla cues the audio's final piece, a recording of Lane, left on a hidden drive, his voice calm but urgent. "If you're hearing this, Reed betrayed me. He's stealing from Caldwell's company, framing others. Don't let him win." The twist hits. Lane wasn't just a victim. He'd planned to expose Reed, leaving this message as his last act. The crowd erupts, reporters scrambling, board members shouting. Reed bolts for the exit, but security, tipped by Ethan, blocks him, their hands clamping his arms. "You're finished," Ethan says, his voice a hammer, his eyes locked on Reed's. Maya steps forward, her red dress a beacon, her gaze unyielding. "This is for Lane," she says, her voice steady, fierce. "For his family, for every person you crushed." Her fingers brush the guitar pick, her husband's voice echoing. "Keep your light, Maya." She hands the hard drive to a reporter, her hands steady despite the storm in her chest. "Tell the world," she says. The crowd parts, their eyes on her, not as a nanny, but as a hero. Ethan steps beside her, his jaw tight, his guilt transformed into purpose. "You did this," he says, his voice low. "You showed me the truth." Maya's lips press tight, her eyes searching his. "We did this," she says, her words a bridge, not forgiveness, but a start. Reed's shouts fade as security drags him away, his empire crumbling under the weight of his own lies. The gala's chaos swirls, but Maya stands tall, her heart pounding with victory and pain. She thinks of Jamal, safe at home, and Liam, who'll sleep easier tonight. The projector flickers, Lane's voice looping. "Don't let him win." The crowd's applause grows, a roar of justice. But Maya's eyes are on the exit, where a shadow lingers. Reed's final threat, a whisper of danger still lurking, waiting to strike. "You can't hide anymore, Reed." Maya Johnson's voice rings like a gavel, her eyes blazing as she stands in the gala's aftermath. Reporters swarming the Beverly Hills ballroom. Jonathan Reed, his blonde hair disheveled, his smug mask shattered, is cuffed by police, his wrists bound as he's dragged from the chaos. Maya's red dress commands the room, her fingers clutching her husband's guitar pick, its worn edge a spark of triumph. At 38, she's toppled a killer, Reed, who murdered Thomas Lane and framed her with Ethan Caldwell's $200,000 trap. Her jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as she watches Reed's downfall, her pulse steady with hard-won victory. "You thought I'd break," she says, her voice a blade, aimed at Reed's retreating form. "You were wrong." Reed twists, his eyes wild, spitting venom. "You're nothing," he snarls, but an officer yanks him back, cutting him off. "Save it," the officer snaps, his grip iron. The crowd buzzes, cameras flashing as headlines shift. Nanny exposes corporate killer. Maya's chest tightens, her breath sharp, not from fear, but from the weight of justice. The ledgers, emails, Lane's recording, all exposed in the gala's blaze, have sealed Reed's fate. Ethan steps beside her, his face raw, his guilt now fuel for resolve. "You did this," he says, his voice low, firm. "You cleared your name." Maya's eyes flicker, her hand tightening on the pick. "Not just mine," she says, her words cutting. "Lane's, his family's." Ethan's jaw tightens, his knuckles white. "I failed them," he admits, his voice breaking. "But not you." The police report confirms it. Reed's charged with embezzlement, fraud, and Lane's murder. His shell companies unraveled, his allies ousted from the board. The nanny test scandal fades, replaced by Maya's heroism. Reporters surge, but she waves them off, her shoulders squared. "No interviews," she says, her voice steady. "The truth's enough." Carla by her side grins, her laptop closed. "You burned him down," she says, her voice a spark. Maya's lips twitch, not a smile, but close. She thinks of Jamal, safe at home, and Liam, free from fear. Reed's empire of lies is dust, every loose end tied. Lane's death avenged, Ethan's company cleansed. But Maya's pulse quickens, her fingers brushing the guitar pick. Justice is done, but the scars of Reed's schemes and Ethan's betrayal linger, a reminder that truth comes at a cost. As the crowd disperses, a reporter's camera catches her silhouette, a symbol of resilience, hinting at a legacy yet to be built. "You broke her trust. Now fix it." Carla's voice lashes like a whip, her eyes drilling into Ethan Caldwell as they stand in his sleek office. The echoes of Jonathan Reed's arrest still ringing. Maya Johnson's triumph at the gala, exposing Reed's murder of Thomas Lane and his fraud, has cleared her name. But the scars of Ethan's $200,000 trap remain raw. At 52, Ethan's empire is cleansed, but his guilt festers. He saw Maya as a thief, not the woman who sang to his son Liam, who fought for justice. His jaw clenches, teeth grinding, as he grips a pen, its tip snapping under pressure. "I owe her everything," he says, his voice raw, a blade cutting through his shame. "I'll make it right." Carla crosses her arms, her glare unrelenting. "Words don't cut it," she snaps, cutting him off. "She's not your charity case." Ethan's chest tightens, Maya's conditions from their confrontation flashing. Clear her name, protect her son's future, see her as a person. He nods, his knuckles white. "Not charity," he says, his voice steady. "Respect." He slams the pen down, his resolve igniting. He's lost partners, advisors, his wife to betrayal, but Maya's strength, her guitar pick clutched in defiance, her voice breaking Reed, showed him what trust could be. He won't fail her again. He storms to his computer, fingers flying as he drafts a press release. "I'm going public," he says, his voice a hammer, "on national TV." Carla's eyes narrow. "Spill it," she says, her tone sharp. Ethan's breath catches, his pulse pounding. "I'm funding a $5 million music therapy foundation in Maya's name," he says, "for single parents, at-risk kids, people like her." His hands shake, typing out the details. Scholarships, community programs, a direct nod to Maya's work with Liam and her Inglewood kids. "And I'm reforming my company," he adds, his voice rising. "No more toxic hires, no more Reeds. Diversity, fairness, starting now." Carla's lips twitch, not a smile but close. "That's a start," she says, her voice softening. "What about her?" Ethan's fingers pause, his throat bobbing. He pulls out his phone, dialing his lawyer. "Set up a trust," he orders, his voice firm, "for Maya's son, Jamal, full education, college, whatever he needs, and get UCLA on the line. I'm covering her music therapy degree." The lawyer stammers, but Ethan cuts him off. "Do it, no questions." He hangs up, his eyes burning with purpose. He thinks of Maya's red dress at the gala, her voice. This is for Lane, for his family. He's not just atoning for himself, he's honoring her fight. He tracks Maya to the community center, where she's teaching kids a jazz melody, her fingers strumming a guitar. Her braided hair is loose, her eyes bright but guarded. Ethan steps in, his plain jacket a far cry from his billionaire suits. Maya, he says, his voice low. She pauses, her hand tightening on the guitar, her jaw set. What now? She asks, her voice ablade. Ethan steps closer, his hands open. I'm funding a foundation, he says, in your name, for music therapy, for people like you. Maya's eyes flicker, her breath catching. Not your redemption, she says, cutting him off. I don't need your name on my work. It's not about me, Ethan says, his voice breaking. It's about you, your strength, your care. You saved Liam. You saved me. He pulls out a contract, sliding it across the table. Jamal's education, your degree, paid in full. No strings. Maya's fingers tremble, brushing her guitar pick, her husband's voice echoing. Keep your light, Maya. She looks at Ethan, her eyes searching. Why? She asks, her voice steady but soft. Because you showed me what trust looks like, he says. You showed me who I could be. Maya's lips press tight, her heart warring between scars and hope. I'll take it, she says, her voice firm. But not for you, for Jamal, for these kids. The kids cheer, their voices a chorus, as Maya strums again, her melody soaring. Ethan steps back, his chest lighter, his guilt easing. He's not forgiven, not yet, but he's building something real. The foundation, the trust, the reforms, they're his vow to be better, to see people like Maya as they are. As she sings, her voice rich, Ethan's phone buzzes. A news alert. Caldwell funds $5 in Nanny's honor. The world sees her now, not as a victim, but as a hero. But Ethan's eyes are on Maya, her strength a beacon, her guitar pick glinting, a promise of a future where trust might just heal them all. You saved me, Maya, Liam's small voice rings out, a spark in the crowded Inglewood Community Center, his 6-year-old frame bounding toward Maya Johnson as she strums a guitar. Her red dress, worn from the gala where she toppled Jonathan Reed, is gone, replaced by a simple yellow blouse, her braided hair loose, framing her face. At 38, Maya's fought through Ethan Caldwell's $200,000 trap, exposed Reed's murder of Thomas Lane, and reclaimed her name. Her jaw clenches, not with anger, but with pride, as Liam hugs her, his arms tight. Her fingers brush her husband's guitar pick, its worn edge a beacon of her strength, grounding her as applause erupts. She's not just a nanny, she's a hero, and this room filled with kids, parents, and neighbors knows it. Ethan stands at the edge of the crowd, his plain jacket a far cry from his billionaire suits, his hazel eyes soft with awe. At 52, his empire's cleansed of Reed's fraud, but it's Maya's courage, her refusal to steal, her fight for justice, that rebuilt him. His chest tightens, his pulse steady but heavy, as he watches her lead the kids in a jazz melody. Sing it out, Maya calls, her voice rich, commanding, her fingers flying over the strings. The kids, including Jamal, her 10-year-old, belt out the song, their voices a chorus of hope. Ethan's throat bobs, his guilt now a fire for change, fueled by Maya's $5 million music therapy foundation, funded in her name. Carla, by Maya's side, grins, her laptop closed for once. You did this, she says, her voice a spark, nudging Maya. Turn pain into power. Maya's lips twitch, her eyes flickering to Jamal, whose smile mirrors her late husband's. Not alone, she says, her voice low, steady. You, Ethan, even Lane, we all did. Her words cut, not with blame, but with truth. She thinks of Lane's wife, Sarah, in the front row, clutching a photo of her husband, tears streaking her face. Maya met her last week, shared the truth about Reed's crimes, and gave her closure. Sarah's nod, silent but fierce, is a vow of gratitude. Ethan steps forward, his hands trembling, holding a program for the foundation's first event. Maya, he says, his voice raw, this is yours. He hands her a plaque, engraved, Maya Johnson Music Therapy Fund. The crowd cheers, but Maya's eyes lock on his, searching. This isn't forgiveness, she says, her voice a blade cutting through the noise. It's recognition. Ethan nods, his jaw tight. I know, he says, You showed me what trust looks like. I'm still learning. Maya's fingers tighten on the guitar pick, her husband's voice echoing. Keep your light, Maya. She nods, her heart softening, not healed, but open. Jamal runs up, his soccer jersey bright, tugging her arm. Mom, Liam's singing your song. Liam, on stage, belts a jazz tune Maya taught him to chase nightmares, his voice clear, fearless. Ethan's eyes glisten, his chest heaving. I didn't see him, he mutters, his voice breaking. Not like you did. Maya's gaze softens, her hand brushing Jamal's hair. You're seeing him now, she says, her words a bridge. The crowd roars as Liam finishes, his small hand waving to Maya, a bond forged in music, stronger than Ethan's betrayal. Mrs. Carter, the neighbor who guarded Maya's door, steps up, her eyes sharp but warm. You changed this place, she says, her voice firm. Kids got hope now. Maya's throat catches, her pulse steadying. The Foundation's first program, launched today, offers music therapy to single parents and at-risk youth, funded by Ethan's millions. Jamal's education is secure, Maya's UCLA degree is funded, and her path to music therapy is clear. She strums a final chord, the notes soaring, her voice joining the kids. This is for us, she says, her words ringing. For everyone they tried to break. Ethan moves to the mic, his hands steady now. I was wrong, he says, his voice clear, cutting through the crowd. I saw a nanny, not a hero. Maya taught me to see people, not fears. The crowd quiets, his words raw. This foundation, my company's new policies, they're not enough, but they're a start. He steps back, his eyes on Maya, who nods, her lips pressed tight. It's not absolution, but it's progress. Sarah Lane approaches, her voice soft. Thank you, she says, her hand squeezing Maya's, for giving us justice. Maya's chest swells, her fingers brushing the guitar pick, a silent vow to keep fighting. The kids swarm Maya, their laughter a melody, Jamal and Liam at her side. Ethan watches, his heart lighter, his scars fading. He's not the man who set that trap, not anymore. Maya's strength, her music, her fire, reshaped him. She catches his eye, her gaze steady. Keep learning, she says, her voice low, a challenge and a promise. Ethan nods, his jaw set, his resolve iron. The center buzzes, a new family forming. Maya, Jamal, Liam, Carla, Sarah, bound not by blood but by trust earned through fire. As the song ends, Maya lifts her guitar, the pick glinting in her hand. The crowd's applause fades, but her voice carries, clear and fierce. Justice isn't just winning, it's building something better. The moral lands sharp and true, integrity shines brightest under pressure, and trust once broken can be rebuilt through actions, not promises. The kids' laughter, Liam's fearless notes, Jamal's proud grin, they're proof of a future where hope outlives betrayal. Maya steps off the stage, her silhouette a beacon, her guitar pick a symbol of resilience, whispering of a world where seeing each other is the greatest victory of all. What does it mean to rise above injustice? How do we rebuild trust after betrayal? Share your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. This story of courage and redemption will stay with you forever. Integrity shines brightest when tested, and trust, once broken, can be rebuilt through actions, not words. Maya Johnson faced a billionaire's cruel trap and a corporate killer's schemes, yet her courage transformed pain into justice, showing us that seeing each other's humanity is the ultimate victory. What does standing tall against injustice mean to you? Have you ever fought to rebuild trust? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Your voice matters. Thank you for watching, for feeling this journey with us. Hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time for another story that'll grip your heart.